This yoga move right here is one of my favorites when it comes to releasing that lower back tension. It's called the forearm trick. It's a wonderful and gentle way to show your lower back a little extra TLC in your yoga sessions. So real quick, let's take a look at how this can help to relieve some of that lower back tension. And the best part is you can incorporate this into pretty much any yoga class that you're already doing. The problem with back bends. One of the biggest problems with doing back bends while standing is that it takes a lot of strength here in your lower back to actually hold you up as you bend backward. Now, if you want to release the tension in your lower back, then this might not actually be the best way to go. You see, we spend a lot of time sitting kind of like this, rounded this way. And then so when you start to do a back bend and you're bending back the opposite direction, plus having to hold strength there through your core and lower back, it can actually be kind of a lot to ask out of this sensitive area. However, if you are going to do this pose, then I would suggest offering yourself a little bit of some support. I'd suggest placing your hands on your hips so that as you come back, now you can support yourself a little bit more. Your lower back won't be having to use so much strength. Or making fists, round those shoulders back, place your fists just there at the top of your hip bones, and then coming back into your back bend, it won't take as much strength to hold you up, and you'll actually be getting a little bit of a loosening and release there through your lower back. But there's still a better way to help relieve some of that tension there in your lower back with a different back bending pose. What's the deal with Cobra Pose? We are starting to get closer to finding a release through our lower back with Cobra Pose. And there is something that gets overlooked here in this pose quite often. We actually want to anchor a specific part of our body into the mat as we rise up in Cobra. When you lay down on the mat, try actually squeezing your glutes a little bit, because this will press your pubic bone into the mat. And that's kind of the anchoring point you want in your Cobra, because when you squeeze your glutes, it presses that pubic bone down, and then it'll start to create a little bit of space there through your lower back as you are raising up. This helps to create that space and that traction through your spine, helping to relieve a little bit of that tension. However, what if we could just focus on only creating that space and that lengthening through the vertebrae there in your spine without having to worry about any strength to really hold us up? And this is exactly where the forearm trick comes into play. Now, if you want a full class where we do a deep dive into helping you release that tension through your lower back, then be sure to click the card here above or check the link in the first pinned comment below. It's roughly a 25-minute class that moves through a bunch of different poses to help you release some of that tension there in your lower back. But now let's move on to the forearm trick, because I've saved the best for last. How to do the yoga forearm trick. It's kind of funny when you think about it, because really, how can your forearms help to release the tension there in your lower back? Simply lay all the way down on the yoga mat, and you don't want to raise all the way up like you normally would in your sphinx pose, rather coming very far down so your chest is just barely lifted off. Now what you want to do is create the sensation of your forearm flesh gently pulling on the mat. And I'm going to exaggerate this here quite a bit. You want to pull and almost drag yourself forward here, staying low to the mat. Now, rather than just that pubic bone being your anchoring point, it's your whole entire trunk and legs that are helping to be that anchor point, kind of ground you into the mat so that it creates more space and traction there through your lower back. But a small word of caution: be gentle with yourself when you're doing this forearm trick there in your sphinx pose. And if you're like most people, then it's probably been years since your lower back has experienced a sensation like this. And this is almost hard to show on camera, because the space that I'm actually creating there in my lower back can probably only be measured in millimeters. But even that tiny increment can have a huge benefit there to your lower back. It's kind of like the yoga version of an inversion table, but specifically targeted toward your lower back to help create space, to create that traction and alleviate stiffness there through your lower back. So you'll hold here, and when you feel it, you will feel it. Take a few breaths here, maybe 3 or 4 breaths, and then simply lower back down. As you get better, you can hold this for longer and longer. As the weeks go by, you'll be able to hold this for up to 2 or 3 minutes. Just breathe deep, breathing into that space there that's being created in your lower back. Again, if you'd like a full class to relieve the tension there in your lower back, then go ahead and click on the video here and be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when a new video comes out.